Disney trips to wrestling and all that's in between. On the MIC, it's the KEY to recall what we see. Like a magic trick can take you back, so open sesame. Come with us, we'll take a ride through epic memories. It's that nostalgia that hits you hard and gets you every time. That do you remember? Makes you laugh and sometimes makes you cry. It's the bops, the shows, the shops. Frank and Jen don't stop. Welcome everybody to Dillo's Pop.
Hello. I don't know if Jen saw my text during
I did,
intro.
so I was like, am I doing?
This is the latest edition of Dillo's Pop. She is Jen.
Hello.
And I am Frank, and it's another hour of me being in glitchy land here.
So far, so good.
So far, so it worked in reverse. It was terrible before, and now it's okay so far.
Exactly. Was it hard to find that Dillo's Pop overlay since I added about 100 pictures?
It's like scrolling all the way down. Yes. But thanks for visiting us here on our YouTube channel on a Friday night. It's March Madness is going on.
Yeah.
SmackDown is happening, but we are here with you for 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see how it goes.
Who knows? Remember, our podcast, the goal used to be 22 minutes. Never. It's never happened.
That's right. When we started Theme Park Thursday with Dillo's Diz, we were like, we're just going to be like 1010 Wins, the news radio station here in New York. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you 22 minutes, we give you the world. Whatever that slogan is.
Sure.
We give you 22 minutes. You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the
first
world.
First of all, it's 10 minutes, isn't it? 10 wins.
No, it's 22 minutes.
On 10 wins?
Yeah.
No.
Yes. We're gonna have to
fact check that.
Those of you here in the chat this evening can check out the Google 1010 Wins slogan.
Someone in the chat let us know what the 1010 Wins slogan is.
You give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world.
Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily 10 minutes. I don't think it's 22. 22 is the sitcom format.
I know. It's both. Everything is 22 minutes. That's the perfect amount of time for everything.
I don't believe it.
Well, regardless, we are here with you for Dillo's Pop. After Dillo's Pop tonight, we'll be over at DillosDizResort.com for our hashtag Dillo's Madness during March Madness. That's been going on all month long on DillosDizResort.com. That's our Patreon. $1 a month to join. That gets you into our world famous one-channel Discord. But during hashtag Dillo's Madness, you can do the little join for free and be involved in the whole Dillo's Madness. We're still going through all 32 of our stories, and then we'll take it to Bracket Land with the Bracket Busters and all the seeding that Jen loves.
Yeah, I know there may be some confusion out there because, we changed things up this year. People aren't used to change from us. They don't, what's happening? Mm-hmm. There have been no brackets released at this time.
Correct.
So no one has missed out on the bracket portion of Dillo's Madness. So have no fear. We're still going through. We're telling our stories. We're taking our time with it this year.
Yes, we're pacing ourselves. Mainly because when we tried to jump right into it last year, we didn't get to the end of it. So
we're slowing it down.
We're slowing it down and saying, we got time. There's time to do things.
All right. Breaking news.
Yes.
Breaking news. Frank was correct.
Yeah. It's the perfect amount of time. 22 minutes.
You give us, I don't know. I know that you give us. We give you the world. Yeah, I was going to make that sound as I said the breaking news, but.
Speaking of breaking news, yesterday, Jen, was Theme Park Thursday. We did, the brackets could be coming mid-May, as Jeffers says in the chat, if you're listening to the audio.
May Madness.
We're not saying that it won't, but.
May the 4th be madness.
I like that. We could get there. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yesterday was Theme Park Thursday. We did drop a new podcast. It was like a little bit of a potpourri, I would say.
Yeah.
We had some breaking news from when we were doing the recording. We did a Boy Meets World watch along, which ties into what we're going to talk about here on Dillo's Pop, which is our visit to 90's Con last weekend.
Yes.
And the follow-up there. But that's what happened. But, it's still a Theme Park Thursday. Sometimes on Thursdays here on our YouTube channel, or sometimes at DillosDizResort.com, we do a little Theme Park Thursday live where we don't get to the news of the week because we have a guest or something like that. We couldn't do Theme Park Thursday live last night because this week has been madness. And lo and behold, Disney drops like news.
All the news. And that's all I kept thinking. Every time I saw a new tweet, I saw a new story, I saw Frank tweeting or Xing. What do you call it? I don't know what you call it nowadays. Well, it is still Theme Park Thursday and all this news drop. I'm like, of course it's happening on a day we're not doing Theme Park Thursday live.
I mean, that's just the way of it. Disney knows. They're like, they're not going to talk about it on Theme Park Thursday. So boom, here you go. Here's all the news.
Yes.
So there was basically on Disney parks, there were 4 like announcements made regarding the summer. 2, like one of the announcements we kind of knew already. Another announcement is no surprise really. And then there was 2 like, huh? What's this? So let me put on my glasses so I don't have I'm not going to share the screen. I have it on my phone.
I can't see without his glasses.
Okay, so they announced one, they talked about Tiana's Bayou Adventure. And I don't know, I've been saying Tiana and Tiana, and I've been saying it different ways like all month long, and I don't know why.
Because the Long Island's coming out in you.
It's getting, and I mean, that's part of it is like, I have, it's spring, so it's a little sinusy here on my end.
You did 2 sleepover weekends at my house in the last 2 months, and now you're talking like a Long Islander. Look what you did.
That's all it takes, everyone. So let's see if I don't want to like go through this whole thing, but the Bayou Adventure obviously is a summer hit as 4 new experiences to celebrate summer at Walt Disney World. At Disney Springs, drones take to the skies above Lake Buena Vista. I love when Disney actually acknowledges Lake Buena Vista. This makes me happy. With, quote, Disney Dreams That Soar. A summertime experience that will be a late night perk for visitors. You Can Fly takes on a whole new meaning as we showcase Disney stories celebrating the joy of flight with state-of-the-art drones choreographed to create designs in the sky and paired with a soaring musical score. Let's see what they did there. That's in parentheses. I didn't say that. And memorable movie quotes. Disney Dreams That Soar will run nightly from May 24th through September 2nd. Jen? So are we doing this over Disney Springs because we're afraid of something happening in one of the parks? What's this about? Did we learn our lesson from kite tails crashing into the bleachers everywhere? What's going on?
Yeah, it like at first I was like, "Oh, Disney Springs. Are you guys trying something out so you could bring back the Osborne Christmas lights to Disney Springs?"
Ooh,
Come on, do it.
Christmas drone show in the sky. Ooh.
Featuring Osborne family Christmas lights everywhere.
Listen, we already announced our meetup for September. We can't have anything else at Christmas.
But what if we could?
What if we could?
So I mean, I like it, and I like that there's something at Disney Springs, and I that's nice. If I go far into the future, I don't know how far. It could be a year, could be 5 years. Who knows? I see then cutbacks. It's going into the park, so now you got to pay to see it. So I just see it as one of those things Disney gives you, and it's not. Wow, I can just go see this for free. That's amazing. Oh, just kidding. Now you have to come pay to go to the park to see. Oh, okay. But for the time being, let's enjoy it, right? Let's just enjoy it.
Let's enjoy it. Yeah. So obviously, I feel like this is a test. It's a test. It's a test. There's some kind of test going on. So, but I also would be curious to be like what they could and could not permit for, and who can say? Yeah. Saratoga Springs. If you're a DVC member there or have a resort room, good luck.
Yeah. Drawing people away from MK with Tiana's opening, maybe.
I mean, I think that's fair. That would leave some room for you to ride the Bayou Adventure at night. And let's just say, I think, when Splash Mountain opened 100 years ago, I think we rode it mostly at night. I don't even know when the first time we rode Splash Mountain during the day was.
I don't know. My eyes are closed most of the time when we're going downhill.
Doesn't matter. Over at Disney's Hollywood Studios, get into your feels with Joy herself. She's headed to Pixar Plaza starting June 10th, where she joins other Pixar stars. She'll be in her new home just in time for Disney Pixar's Inside Out 2, which premieres in theaters June 14th.
Let me do hard hands, which Frank can't do, for Frank's favorite movie, Inside Out.
We're gonna do. We just did this Boy Meets World watch along this week on the podcast. We might have to do an Inside Out watch along, just to see where I am in life.
Just to see me cry at the Bing Bong scene, because
no.
I can't even talk about it without crying. You want to watch that publicly?
Oh, brother. Epcotians. Did you know that was the word? Epcotians?
Epcot.
Hip hop. Hi, Regina. Hey, great. Hey, how are you, Regina?
Hi.
How's it going? It was great to see you last weekend, too. Thanks for being here tonight. Epcotians everywhere know that the park has been undergoing the largest transformation in its history. I mean, and each new element that we've unveiled has brought us closer and closer to a fully reimagined Epcot. How do you feel about that statement, Jen?
I mean, easy with that statement.
Remember that gorgeous new fountain and welcoming front entrance, Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, Creation Shops, the lights on Spaceship Earth, Space 220, Connections Cafe and Eatery, Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, Journey of Water, inspired by Moana, Walt the Dreamer, and wow, when you lay it out like that, they've really done a lot in a couple of years.
Interesting.
But they're like, why are you getting so defensive, Disney Parks blog? What's going on?
I feel like we're arguing, and I don't want to argue with you.
Well, everyone will be talking about Bruno from June 10th to September 6th because a new summer sing-along featuring the beloved songs and story of that movie Encanto is in development now. The new limited time show Celebration Encanto runs several times throughout the day and will not only invite you and your family to sing along with some of your favorite songs, but you'll also spot Mirabel and Bruno on the newly opened Communicore Plaza stage. Now, when you say plaza, that means outside, and it's going to be in the summertime. I'm very, very curious about this show.
I don't love the outdoor portion of that, but okay.
Yeah.
But obviously, for the kids, we'll stand there and watch it.
Lewis is asking about this Boy Meets World watch along. Two things, Lewis. First of all, if you listen to the audio that we dropped yesterday, the second half of the podcast is that watch along. We're expecting that the video portion will be uploaded as soon as my phone wants to do the memory thing. Sometime, I'm hoping tomorrow, Saturday, that we'll have the video portion of the Boy Meets World watch along when they were in Disney, the happiest show on earth, season 3, episode 21.
Yes. For those of you at Dillo's resort, you may recall in the beginning of the week, I was like, hey guys, we are trying to figure out all the recordings we want to do for this week. It's Friday. We're doing 2 of the 3 we wanted to do this week, and they're happening tonight. The one that we recorded Theme Park Thursday on Tuesday morning, and we weren't even sure if that one was going to happen or not. So we were like, you good? Let's go. We just got to record. So we kind of crowbarred that recording in there. But yeah, we'll be releasing that video as well. So you didn't miss anything unless you missed the audio. So you could check that out, but you didn't miss the video yet.
Lewis is distraught that they were the resort guests were not invited to that. There was no
Yeah,
time.
I'm already explaining myself, Lewis. I was already explaining. You were probably typing that as I was explaining.
Yeah, we could not guarantee a timely recording.
Yeah.
So we could not announce it because it was very, very, very tight.
Yeah.
And for some reason in this Disney Parks blog, as we're 15 minutes in and not talking about 90's Con yet, that it's interesting that the final story here is about Disney's Animal Kingdom. That's right. Get ready to roar at Disney's Animal Kingdom theme park, where the celebration for the 30th anniversary of The Lion King will prowl the entire park from June 10th through September 6th. 30 years since The Lion King. But even better than wallpaper, there's a whole new merchandise collection, so you can see the iconic Disney's Animal Kingdom stage show and pass holder lounge / Monday morning monorail favorite, Festival of the Lion King in style. Ready to rustle up some grubs? This will be there will be a special menu items to snack on, and Pumbaa's ribs. No, that's not true. And this adorable Pumbaa popcorn bucket to add to your pride. Ooh, a Pumbaa popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
But I've been sitting on that Ernie Sabella cameo for months.
Yeah.
And as it gets closer to the time for the Lion King 30th, we'll have to show everyone the full
Yes.
Ernie Sabella cameo that we've had. We've dropped the audio in the past, but not the video.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of Lion King stuff coming to the Animal Kingdom. There's secret construction sites and trailers being loaded in behind the Animal Kingdom. Something's coming. Something. We don't know what it is. But that was all announced on Theme Park Thursday.
Yes. Not on the episode. Of
Not
Theme
on
Park
the
Thursday,
episode. Like,
on the day. Yes.
Why don't you let us drop this news, Disney? Just send it all. You just email us and we'll
Where's
jump on.
the press release ahead of time?
And stop. We'll start recording. Just stop it and give us the news directly for Theme Park Thursday.
Seriously. Enough now.
So here we are. It is a Friday night, as I mentioned. 1 week ago, we were planning our travels to 90's Con.
Yes.
We were there all day last Saturday on the 16th of March. Where do you want to begin, Jen, talking about the 90's Con?
I mean, I think we could say it was the third annual, we think, in Connecticut. It was the Connecticut version, the third annual, and it was also our third annual. We have now gone the past 3 years. And we're always, I think, learning more, thinking about more, assessing more. We're doing all the things as we go. But, I think the day had some surprises along the way. I think we got a lot done. I felt walking away from it, I felt very whirlwind-esque. So, yeah, I mean, I think we should just start at the very beginning.
So, year one, when they announced the all-new Mickey Mouse Club for 90's Con, we were like, we're going to 90's Con.
Yes.
There wasn't even a question.
Yeah.
Year two, we said, let's see what happens, what we could do. And they, boom, Beverly Hills 90210, which if you've never listened to us ever or never watched us before, we make enough 90210 references here.
Yeah.
Might as well be a 90210 podcast sometimes.
Yeah.
So then we went for that. So to that, I would say with year three, we had to tie up some loose ends.
Yeah.
And two, like one of the big announcements that came out early on was that 4 Disney princess voices would be appearing. And we were like, well, now we're going because we got to tie in the whole Disney element here. When all is said and done, as happens with, I think, all cons, so I'm not going to just say it for 90's Con. They're working performers, so it comes and goes sometimes if they pick up some work. And so there was 2 Disney princesses that were performing at 90's Con. Do you want to start there, or do you want to talk about what we booked? Because the 2 Disney princesses, we didn't.
Well, we might as well start. You've kicked it off with Disney princesses. Let's keep it going. Let's just go with that.
Yeah. I think of all the Disney princess voices, I think, name the Disney princess voices you can recognize. I think most people would say, Jodie Benson as Ariel. And so that is immediately what you go to. So the fact that she was going to be at 90's Con, we were like, if we don't book an individual photo op, will it be hard to get to her? And, so that was something we were gauging all day. We opted because we were buying other individual photo opportunities. And to say, if you don't know what we're talking about, you can go walk up and wait in line. And hopefully you don't wait for too long to do a meet and greet or a selfie or an autograph. You could do that option, or you probably can save some time, pay a couple of bucks more, and do an individual photo op at a specific time of day.
Mhm.
So for Jody Benson, we were like, let's roll the dice because we
Mhm.
wanted to specifically book some things.
Mhm.
Let's roll the dice and see if we could see Jody Benson. So I'm going to pass it to Jen and how that all came to be.
Yeah. So when we walked into 90s Con, the way the layout is, you kind of go a little bit to the right to go towards where all the actors and actresses and singers and everybody will be, and then to the left are the vendors. So we started going to the right, and each year it has been very interesting as to who is at those first two spots.
Right.
I think year one it was Nick Carter
Mhm.
and probably another Backstreet Boy. I don't know. And then last year it was, oh no, I'm forgetting who was there last year.
I know that Ian Ziering was close to it, so I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, let's just say, who they think is going to get the most traffic, they kind of put
They
right.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
So this year it was Jody Benson, first one,
Mhm.
and then we had Linda Larkin,
Mhm.
the second one. So we're like, oh, they're right here. Oh my goodness. Jody Benson, already the line. Just crazy.
Mhm.
And also last year, I don't think they had the VIP pass first year, right? I think that was the last year thing.
Maybe they did, but not to the
Not to the
availability.
extent.
Yeah.
Or as we like to call it when we're there, the lightning lane.
Oh,
So,
good one,
yes.
Regina. That Saved by the Bell you are correct. Now that you
Yes,
say that.
that's right. Yeah, I think it went Saved by the Bell 90210. I
Yeah.
think that's how the line went there.
Right.
Yeah. So we were like, we wanted to see the Boy Meets World panel at 11 a.m.
Mhm.
So we were like, you know what? Linda's line, our friend Linda, we can use first names because we're all besties here. So Linda's line was a little more manageable. We're like, let's see if we can get a picture with her. We might as well. We're right here until we have to go to the panel. However, the lightning lane for Linda, was filling up. And so every once in a while, we're like, oh, okay, it's going pretty. Oh, 3 people just got on lightning lane. So we're not, I don't know. And we're watching the clock and we're like, all right, I think we're calling it. We're going to go up to the panel. We'll come back later and see how that goes. Now, in the past, that typically doesn't go well for us because we had tried that with Danielle Fishel one year, or at least I did. 3 times I got on that line. Alicia last year, we tried 3 times as well, I think. So, there's some rolling of the dice if you choose to walk away, but we did it.
And you might be saying, Jen and Frank, it's your 3rd year. Why aren't you doing the VIP pass? And I'll tell you, because we think about it too late and they're already sold out.
Yeah, always. And we go, should we? I don't know. Who's going to be there? Just what are we doing?
Are we indecisive? I don't know.
No, that's not us. We love to plan things properly. Anywho's, we'll talk about the Boy Meets World panel, but we came back down and went right back to Linda's line. And we're like, we have time before we have any photo ops scheduled or anything like that. Let's wait on the line. And it paid off because she was the first photo we were able to get at 90s Con. And I mean, if you're kicking it off with the voice of Jasmine, that's a good day right there. So I think we have the photo, possibly, maybe.
Do you? I don't know. I'm scrolling.
You're scrolling. I know. My phone doesn't like to share the screen. This one. This one. Yep.
Hey, that way. Aha.
Share the screen on StreamYard. So I loaded up the StreamYard with overlays of all the photos. But here we are. Obviously, she had the ring light. I'm kind of appreciating how many people have the ring lights because those pictures sure do come out a little bit better. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like after the first year it was a quick lesson because Leah Thompson that first year had the ring light. And I feel like those pictures are awesome. And I'm not just saying that because I'm in a picture with Leah Thompson.
Where are you? But to say, we felt like there were way more kids this year overall at 90s Con than we had seen in the past. And I do believe a big part of that was that Disney princesses were present. So there were a lot more lounge flies walking around, not just mine. There were others this year, and little girls dressed up and adults dressed up in princess costumes. So princess power was there this year for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's how we kicked off 90s Con picture wise.
Jeffers is in the chat asking who's bringing the ring light to our meetup in September in Walt Disney World. Well, we'll see. I mean, Jen and I fly Blue Basic, so I don't know if we have room for a ring light.
Remember, Steffers got me that clip-on Mickey one that can go right on your phone.
That's right. Steffers for the win.
Where's that? Yeah, I have to find it. Kids, what do they know about the 90s? Listen, my kids were so upset this year not to be at 90s Con, and I was like, oh great, is the price of 90s Con about to go up because now I got to bring the kids from now on? Yeah, they were really wanting to go this year. So I think we were saying after the fact, like, not only the Disney princesses, but I think shows like Fuller House kind of introduce those characters to kids, and maybe they went back to watch Full House. Same with Girl Meets World for Boy Meets World. And there's ways that these kids are being brought in to all these nostalgic shows that their parents loved. And you kind of see that in the turnout. A lot of kids were asking questions at the panels, and I just feel like we saw more walking around overall.
Way more, and definitely with the Full House panel later in the afternoon,
Yes.
the amount of kids that asked questions, which was great. I think great for them. A lot of our theme this year at 90s Con was tying up those loose ends that we didn't get to the first 2 years. And I think, the cast of Full House, however many of them are there at these cons, it's still kind of on that loose end list for us. We haven't done any photo ops with any of the cast yet. And it was just Jodie Sweetin and Dave Coulier this year, but their panel was still great. And I think it was great in part because the kids were asking questions.
Yes, for sure.
It gave it a little extra, life.
Regina's mentioning that the kids pass is much cheaper, so it makes sense. It's good to know. I have to take note of that. Thank you.
Yeah, Jen is doomed.
This is what I do for bringing my kids into the nostalgia. So we can kind of bookend things with princesses so we can continue with and round out the princess stories. Jodie Benson, we just kept watching her line. I mean, every time we pass it, it was filled to the max, plus the lightning lane. And we were like, we'll just keep watching that all day. We'll see. Maybe we end up buying the photo op. We don't know. We'll play it out. And after the Full House panel, I think, which was at like 3 or
it was either 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We came down and there were like 2 people in front of Jodie, and we were like, oh man, they just closed the line. She's done. She's probably, because she was also performing at the after party that night. We're like, she's probably starting to slow it down at this point. And so one of the volunteers of the event was there, and we were like, oh, is she done? They're like, no, come on.
And that really went like this. Hi, excuse me. Hi.
Hi, excuse me. Is she okay? Is she all done? It's okay if she is. It's okay. I'm not mad. I'm not gonna but yeah, she was like, no, yeah, come on up. We're like, what? Oh my God. Okay. Okay. We didn't expect this. All right. And we were able to see Jodie Benson and get a picture with her, which was lovely. I'll find that photo here.
There's a walk up. That's what they call it, like a walk up.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. We went right to the front of the line. Here it is. Okay. It's another one of the portrait photos. There we are. Jodie Benson. Also, the ring light, she also had the people doing it from up here. She knows the angles. She knows those angles. Every single person up here taking those photos. So excellent. But yeah, so it's like at the end of the day, we got a picture with the voice of Ariel and the voice of Jen. What is that world? I don't even know. But that was the princess portion.
And I think originally Paige O'Hara was supposed to be there, and oh gosh, it's gonna escape me who is the voice of Meg. It is Judy Kuhn. Judy, is that right? But
put it in the chat.
So still on my list because both those voices, I always like their voiceover work in those films. So that would be exciting.
Yeah.
So we sit there, and I mean, I think the one thing we can, since you brought it up, is the Boy Meets World panel, because I think the overall, again, in these 3 years, Jen is a huge Boy Meets World fan. I, in passing, probably when Jen was watching reruns back in the day, or, I appreciate the show, but it was, as I said on the podcast this week, it was always a little nostalgic for me because I was already out of high school when it started.
Yeah.
But for me, I'll talk about me first. One of the stories for me here the last 3 years is really watching the cast popularity like soar in some ways, because the podcast that they do, Pod Meets World, did that start right after the first 90s con or right around the time?
It was right after-ish. Like they were kind of hinting at it, I feel like, but it started pretty much right after.
And I mean, and maybe Regina can chime in, but to me, and we talked about this, I feel like their popularity, like just a crowd there to see them, has tripled.
Oh yeah.
Since the first one 2 years ago in 2022. I couldn't get over the crowd for the panel discussion. I think was similar, each of the years. But for that early in the morning, I felt it was pretty large.
Yes.
But the lines for them at the booth, it was crazy all day. Like Jen almost got to see Danielle Fishel 3 times that first year. You couldn't if you made that choice this year to try to just wait in line. No way.
No. And also in that year, in the row she was in of the convention center, the MMC was on the other side. So their sections of their lines were also shorter, where now they had almost like this whole huge space. But what was funny is, we kept doing loops, and I felt for them because they had the 11 o'clock panel, and then they went into like the group photos, the duos, the trios, the singles of all the professional photo ops. And so I'm like, I don't even know if they've been at their tables today. So a lot of the times when we would walk by, it was mostly empty. And then at some point we walk by and we just see this crowd, and I go, well, there's Danielle's line. Look how crazy that is already. No one's even there. I don't even know when they're coming back. We just heard her name being announced. Like she's doing the other photos. Look at this line. And we get closer, and it's the line for Bill Daniels, aka Mr. Feeney. And it was just a crowd sitting, just waiting to rope drop the photo and the meet and greet with Mr. Feeney. I was like, oh, there was no one even waiting for anyone else at that point, and just him. It was crazy.
Yeah, because this is the first one he's been at. He's 96 or 97 years old?
He's about to be 97, I think.
And I mean, every single Boy Meets World fan there on Saturday was in that line.
Yes.
Jen was smart and bought the professional photo op.
I did, yeah. We did that last second, and I was like, I will regret if I leave that con and we don't have a photo with him. Just going back to the podcast, it looks like the first episode was June 2022. So yeah, just a few months after we saw them in at the first 90s con. Regina had the VIP to Will. Love that you got to see him. So yeah,
why don't you bring up the photo of Feeney first, and of William Daniels, and I mean for Lewis, because I know Lewis is gonna do the references here. So we got the voice of Kit on Knight Rider. You got Saint Elsewhere. I mean, as much as he's an icon of the 90s. His voice, and I mean, he's almost an icon of the 80s and the 90s.
Yes.
And so this was this was one of my better photos today.
We'll talk about that later. Franking the professional photos.
Had the yips all day on these professional photo ops. I knew Lewis would be there for Kit. I knew it.
Yeah. And one we had booked pretty early on was a photo, because they had a lot of the cast. It was basically the entire cast minus a couple,
minus the boy.
but also minus the boy. And then a couple of others were missing, but it was a huge cast. And so you could have one of those photos with the entire cast. And we were like, oh, I don't know if we can swing that. So who else can we get? So we did get the Pod Meets World photo here.
My smile looks great in that picture.
again, things to be discussed later.
Right. That's a story for the resort.
Yeah. Yes, resort guests will hear more about Frank's yips during these photo ops. But we have Will and Danielle and Ryder. Again, I can use first names as they are all friends in my head. So that's that. Yeah, and then the two we didn't really expect, I guess, but thought about.
Right.
I personally thought about them because, again, the kids were like, "Are you going to see this person? Are you going to see this person?" And one of the people that they were saying was Betsy Randall, who is the mom on Boy Meets World. And they're like, are you gonna like meet her?" I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna meet her, but she'll be there." And they're like, "Oh," and they couldn't even believe it. So I told Betsy Randall that story when we went to meet her because her and William Russ, here we go. They both it was pretty quiet at their tables when we got to them, which was nice. So we were able to do a little meet and greet with both of them. But that was like it's what's also crazy, and I'll just say this quickly, is because I've been rambling a lot. Is that you know, you see Bill Daniels there, almost 97. It's like, oh my God, how is he at this con right now? Like, this is a long day for us. This is a very long day for all of them, everybody who is there and signing the autographs and taking the photos and all the things and doing the panels. So we were super impressed. It's kind of a throwback to our great uncle who would totally have done the same thing at 97. Like, that would be him too. But then you see Betsy and Rusty. I'll call him Rusty because, again, we're friends and this is what people call him when they're his friend. They were 90s sitcom parents. That's huge. But they're also, when you think about it, like, oh, you're like our parents' age too. So this is also probably like, this is a long day for everybody. But it's awesome. But it was very cool to be with 90s sitcom parents.
Yeah.
But then you had a little moment with Rusty yourself.
Yeah, did you get my reference or did you not know my reference? Have you ever
not in that moment? I had to process.
Yeah. So William Russ, back in the late 80s, early 90s, there was a television show on CBS called Wise Guy. And it was everyone thought that Ken Wall was going to be a huge star. And sometimes it doesn't go that way. And it's basically the show that launched Kevin Spacey, which we won't say anything more about that. But and would have these small kind of 6 to 8 episode arcs. And William Russ played Roger Lococo on that show, who's kind of like a smart alecky kind of character. And I think, if I remember correctly, and I didn't want to be too much of a geek who remembers this from 30 something years ago, in the moment, I was glad that he acknowledged that I acknowledged Roger Lococo to him. And I think when Ken Wall took a sabbatical from the show, that it was William Russ who's kind of stepped up into that main role in the next story arc, because his character was popular, as popular as things were without the internet around.
Yeah. Yeah. And I felt like, and he was like, "Oh yeah, that was a fun show." I felt like the two of them, had we come better prepared, like we probably could have like chatted with them, but
Right. Yeah,
in that first year of 90s Con, we got to like chat a little more with certain people, and I feel like they could have been that, but I wasn't prepared enough to like come into that. Yeah. But
100%. And then when I went and watched The Happiest Show on Earth prior to recording the podcast this week, and just seeing them play the parent roles, I was like, oh yeah, this is classic 90s parents. I mean,
for sure. Regina's also mentioning that William Daniels is doing some other cons in the next few months. Good for him. Yeah. And I think Sunday night, Pod Meets World, the podcast, has been doing live shows around the country, and they've been doing it for the last year or so, or maybe more. I don't even know. And so they've been going around to different cities. And since they were in Connecticut with pretty much everybody, I think I'm pretty sure he was at that as well on Sunday night. They all went and did the live show. Like the con ends on 5 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then they went right over to the live show, which I think was at like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Some marathoning they're doing.
Whew, yeah. I'm tired.
I mean, I'm sure I'm sure it's great, but it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot for sure.
So if we had to really state this, but there were 3 first-time big movie stars, big movie stars. I don't want to discount some others, but and then I will say just tangentially, Alyssa Milano was the newest addition on the TV side of things. I think people were like, "Whoa, Alyssa Milano!" But Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon were doing all sorts of ops all day, and I'm just going to leave it at that and not say too much more.
Check out social media for more information.
But the one that Jen and I responded to instantaneously was Marissa Tomei. And, for Jen, it is Only You. It is Untamed Heart.
Yeah.
It is what else you got there?
My Cousin Vinny, of course.
Vinny, I think I thought she was hilarious in Mel Gibson's What Women Want.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
It's really funny in that. But for me, I think the big thing is I talk about Oscar all the time, and I gotta do a movie watch of that at the resort. But she's the daughter. She is the inamorati, as it were, in Commedia dell'arte terms. What's Frank talking about with his MFA in dramaturgy? The Commedia dell'arte. But Marissa Tomei is great in that because she had come from a different world and went into that, and then like all of a sudden, like 2 years later, she was winning an Oscar for My Cousin Vinny. And what did I just say? Did I say Vinny? It didn't sound good. But so many great roles over the years that we were like, we gotta see Marissa Tomei.
Yeah.
I just loved her laid back nature. I think I'll just,
super laid back and chill. For those who don't know, when you see the background like that, those photo ops are as Frank mentioned before, you pay a few more bucks. It's more than a few to guarantee those photos, and they are crazy quick. And some, like you saw the Pod Meets World, we're all linking arms, we're all like this is great. Some are more don't touch anybody. No touching, no handshakes, no hugs. No, we're like, okay.
And just to say, the first year, right? It was like specific, like no kissing. I mean, now granted, we were,
Did they say that on the first year? I don't even remember that.
Yeah, there was no kissing, and I was like, "Who's kissing?
Who's kissing?" But that first year we had Christopher Lloyd. Now we're in 2022. Where this is still a big event coming out of the I remember he had an air purifier, and there was hand sanitizer, and there were all the things happening. Some people were still wearing masks. They had plexiglass or something. All the things were happening. So at this stage, you're not seeing that as often. Now, Bill Daniels was one of those. No handshakes, and we're like, of course, we're just like standing near him, like that's totally fine, whatever. So, but Marissa was one of those. No handshakes, no hugs. No touching, and we're like, oh, okay. Now I do think that might play into Frank's yips a little bit with some of these photo ops, because what do? We always feel awkward in these.
We're already awkward.
We're already awkward people. You've seen our pictures together. We can't take a photo together. We don't even know what to do with ourselves. So like to take a picture when we're like, we'll do this and whatever. So when you see the different photos and us in different pictures with various people, there are different rules for different celebs, which we abide by.
And rule followers.
Yes.
Dr. Val is asking, is there a person that tells you the rules, or is it written out? I think there are rules written out when you purchase. I'm sure there's the fine print.
Because you can't bring your own phone in. You can't do certain things to those photo ops.
It's like just this camera that's taking your photo.
Yes.
But to say, I don't fault the announcements when they come, and people are like very specific when they're like, don't do this, don't do that, just because you don't know if someone already failed and did something they shouldn't have. Then
they ruined it for the rest of the class.
Like, so do I think I'm not saying all the time, but I'm saying, do I think sometimes someone did something they weren't supposed to, and then the rules came out a little stronger by the time Jen and I got there? Maybe.
Yes.
So, but it did seem a little more. And again, it not being 2022, where we're 2 years closer to 2020, being now, I think everyone's a little more friendlier.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and that was it. And Val, to also piggyback on that, is there was someone. Now we kind of had the same volunteer for a good
Mhm.
chunk of our photos
Yes,
because we were in
right.
like the same little cube
Yeah.
for a few different ones. So I don't know if this was just something she was saying, but like with Pod Meets World, we were pretty early on that line, whatever you want to say, like towards the front of the line, I guess. And the
Mhm.
first couple of people went in there and they were hugging. And I was like, I turned to Frank and I was like, do we get to hug them? Oh my God. And I
Mhm.
was so excited. And then like 2 rounds of people did that. And then the people in front of us, you could see the girl was also excited. And then she was like, no handshakes, no hugs. And she was like, no hugs. She was so disappointed. And I was like, oh man, we just missed the cutoff.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And again, not faulting any of it, and
Yeah.
not even in that case, it just might have been too much excitement, and they were like, "Ah, we got to scale it back,"
Yeah.
But we are at our interactions with all three of them, even without the hugs,
Yeah.
was lovely.
Yes.
They
Yes.
they know how it goes,
Yeah.
and we all were in embracements.
Yes.
We're all here. It was no Jason Priestley acting like Brandon Walsh shaking our hands.
I mean,
That's it. That's the bar.
I mean, and I also think when you start shaking hands or hugs or whatever, it slows down the process.
Yeah.
And this
Also.
process is like get them in, get them out, get the picture, get out. Like that's
Mhm.
it. It's
Yeah.
very quick. So I know that like slows things down, but yeah, it was very nice. I told them I was giving them like a virtual hug. I
Yeah.
don't think virtual was the word I should have used. Oh no, I said air hug. Oh, I did say air hug because we're not virtual.
Right.
So I said air hug, and then but like I made eye contact with each one of them, and I was like, "Yes,
Mhm.
this is my moment. This is my moment. This is my moment." Like, which is what I at least try to do with all of them in those situations of like, "Thank you," like a hi or a thank you to each of them. But it's
Listen,
hard
Danielle
sometimes.
official apologized for putting her hand up my shirt, but we'll get to that over at the resort. We'll talk about that over at the resort. Uh, that's just a little tease for the DillowsDizResort.com, folks.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Regina said, I always let the celeb initiate. Will even asked if he could hug me, which was nice, but this was at the table. Yeah.
Mm,
And I do think at the table, things have been different. We've
yes.
hugged, I think all the MMC people, we like hugged all of them at the tables and,
Mhm.
did a whole thing. But yeah, it's interesting.
So then, that was our afternoon. What am I missing something before we talk about the last thing? I feel like there's something I'm missing in between, or did I
What's your
get
last thing? Oh, the final big photo
the
op.
final photo? Yeah, but we
Um,
were at the Fuller
yeah.
House panel discussion, and that was nice. But Jen is here to go. Oh,
Sorry, I don't have that final photo up
oh,
in the shared thing. So we can, if you want to talk about this, because we saw the Dawson's Creek panel,
oh
we
yeah.
saw the Full House panel, we saw the Boy Meets World panel. So we got, I think the Full House one and the Dawson's Creek, we kind of missed a few minutes of each of those, but overall, we saw them.
Yeah, I mean, James Vanderbeek was there, and so they had the Dawson's Creek panel at 3, which was, I guess someday I should go back. We're talking about shows that we'll never binge. Mrs. Dillo and I last night were talking about Grey's Anatomy. It's like this is
Mhm.
a show I will never binge because I'm not going to get through 400 episodes. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah,
I know you and Angela Dahlgren started, and
we
you
got
know.
through about 4, and
That's it's a monumental task right there.
Yeah.
But we started binging last night. I will just say separately, tangentially. Only Murders in the Building on
Yeah.
Hulu.
Oh,
Stephen
yes,
Merchant and
yes,
Selena Gomez and Martin Short. Already, I'm hooked.
yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know why I waited so long to watch the show, but with Grays, it's like no. But other shows that I should binge sometime, I should just go and watch all the Dawson's Creeks
Yeah.
because I didn't, and I mean I think my roommate did back in the 90's, but
I would put money on it.
but yeah, I mean based on us watching 90210 all the time together,
And Saved by the
but
Bell.
and Saved by the Bell,
with
both.
me.
But yeah, it was not a show. I think work schedule or whatever it was that it
Yeah.
was not a show I watched during its heyday. So, but I feel like it's something I probably would enjoy and go through rather quickly.
Yeah.
But so hearing the stories, that was cool. And like I said, with the Full House panel, it was cool for two things, right? Because sometimes you get big casts, and so you only get to hear a couple of things from each.
Mhm.
So because it was Jodie Sweetin and Dave Coulier, one is, and we could talk about this briefly. It was fun to watch them play off of each other, but
Yes.
the theme I feel like that came up was this idea that I never really thought about: DJ being Danny and Stephanie being Joey, and Kimmy Gibbler, I guess, being Joey,
Mhm.
and Stephanie being
Jesse.
Jesse.
Mhm.
Never crossed my mind ever.
Yeah,
But
I
they were
think
leaning into that a lot.
oh, yeah, they were like, yeah, absolutely. Whereas I think I probably thought about it for DJ
Mhm.
just because of the setup. Like,
Right.
she was there, she had the 3 kids. Okay, you're Danny. But I don't think I ever really made the connection other than, oh, now they're all gonna live together. Sure. Like,
Right.
but I don't think I pinpointed like you belong to this one, you're this one, but it kind of makes sense.
It like totally makes sense. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, now that you say this, no, I watched the first season of Fuller House, I think, and then I
Mhm.
stopped.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, do I have to watch all the episodes?
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But Jen has, as we start to unwind here with 7 minutes to go before we head over to DillosDisResort.com, the last of the photo ops.
Yes. So this was one of those, we're tying up loose ends of things we haven't done. Why don't we have a photo with Melissa Joan Hart? What?
Mhm.
Now, so Disney Channel, there's a documentary released this week, so I'm going to
Oh.
be very careful with my words. Disney Channel was more of our channel. However, we did dabble in the Nickelodeon and
Mhm,
it's when
mhm.
Snick started and all that. So we were very big Clarissa people from Nickelodeon. We were also very big Kids Incorporated people as well. But I was like, you know what? Melissa Joan Hart on the orange couch. I think that's an iconic photo and I think we need it. So there we are. Now, I think had there been only one of us there, we probably would have done a cool back to back. She was doing some cool poses with people. And then we got there and we're like, we're not doing a cool pose. We don't know what to do with ourselves.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm gonna lounge on the couch. I don't
Right.
know. What am I doing in this picture? I'm trying
We're
not to have
just
the yips.
lounging.
That's all I'm doing.
Yeah. It
That's how I
works.
lay on the couch. That's how I sit on the couch. Like,
Yeah.
I know. I'm sure Melissa Joan Hart is half scared. I'm trying to put my arm around her, but if I had to guess,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, well, what was really funny, so they have this couch out. We had took photos on it the first year and then but they have it out they had it out last year and this year as well. But we got to see the carrying of the sofa into the photo op area, which was fun because we are like,
yeah.
is it the same orange couch? Do you go over there? Do they bring it in here? Is there another orange couch that they have as a backup? What happens? So we got to see the ceremonial carrying of the orange couch over. So that was fun.
Yeah, and then and what was good this year, and Jen and I talked about this throughout the day, is we're so fascinated by the business model of 90's.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what determines how many tickets are being sold, how many VIP passes are being sold, and because we felt last year, the second year, felt insanely busy
Yes.
on the Saturday
Mm-hmm.
in the best possible way. It was like, whoa, this place is hopping.
Yes.
This year, I don't want it to sound like a negative, did not feel insanely busy, but there were
Yeah.
a lot of, everything we went to seemed crowded.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if they figured out the model, or we're gonna put this panel here and this over here, and we're gonna have. I don't know what it was, but it was felt a lot less overwhelming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This year
Yes.
compared to last year, but I don't know if if you've thought about that part of it more.
Yeah, I mean, it is true. Did they take a page from like Disney's book on where you're moving crowds at certain times of the day? Maybe.
Mhm.
And you wonder. I felt like there were more vendors than other years, so you wonder if maybe people
Right.
are on that side too, and they're kind of exploring everything. Are people there all 3 days or for the weekend. So maybe they're doing half a day and half a day. I think when we were online for the Melissa photo, again, first names, I think someone behind me said, "This is the longest I've ever stayed at a con. Normally, I just come in and like get a couple of things and then I leave." So
Right.
if people are con goers, con frequenters, they might have a certain system. And to us, we're like, well, we're just here all day. I don't know. But they did have the after party that night too. So you wonder if some people left at a certain point and they were going back to the party, or maybe they were coming back the next day. Yeah, I'm not sure. But yeah, it did feel a little lighter. I did also want to mention that we got to finally meet a few friends that we have known virtually over the years and have talked to and communicated with, and maybe one is in the chat right now. I don't know. But but I loved that we finally got to meet up with friends that we have only spoken to over a computer screen or a phone screen, whether it was in a call like this or it was just leaving messages on posts of each other, whatever it is. But that kind of like added an element for me this year too, because we've kind of had those experiences in Disney at this point, so it was cool that it's expanding to 90s Con as well. So that was great.
Well, and then, as we were having those discussions, the 90s Con in Florida this year is the same weekend as the Walt Disney World meetup that we are having. Curiouser and curiouser. Mrs. Dillo today was like, "How long is your meetup trip?" And I was like, "Well, it depends.
Have we made specific plans?"
It's like we're hearing different things that are going on, and there's things we want to do, but so I thought that was amusing as well.
And there are these ticket deals happening. We don't know.
So many things that are happening. But I think long story short is for 90s Con this year is, as we look towards whether it be in September, but looking towards next year. And granted, Jen and I said this last year. The big hook of the first year and the second year with the MMC and 90210 were like no brainers. We didn't get that big hook this year, which gave us these opportunities, which were awesome, and we loved them, and just were so great. Even again, I think the Boy Meets World stuff is just really great, just in terms of the story of them at this convention. So I really enjoyed meeting them because especially here in as it peaked this year more so than ever. But I'm gonna need the hook next year. I need a big hook.
I'm just going to share some photos as you continue to talk as well. Just some extra random,
like American Pie came out in 1999. You want to give me an American Pie angle next year? I'm there.
Yes.
I think there's a couple of ways it could go. That,
I thought of another one again the other day. I was like, oh man, what about this show? I don't remember what it was, but those moments keep happening for me where I start thinking about who you talking to, who you. What about how these lockers are the color of our high school lockers? By the way,
it was weird. Yeah.
What was your combo?
What combo? What?
Your lock. You don't know your lock combo?
17, 35, 25, I think.
Yeah. I was 8, 10, 16. Yeah.
I will say that we're gonna end this story. So I graduated high school in the 90s, right? So it all ties together. So a couple of years after I graduated high school, I was at the school for whatever reasons. But so like you do. I was like, well, I'm gonna go visit my locker, number 2734. Sure. So I go up to the English hallway there. I go to my locker. I'm like, let's see what I could do here. 17, 35, 25. Boom, open up the locker. I was like, sorry, I didn't mean to unlock the locker. Same locks. Switch them up a little bit, would you?
What? When was this?
It was like a couple of years after I graduated high school. The same lock was on my locker.
That's funny.
They didn't change them out back then.
No, because I have a story, because I was saying 8, 10, 16, and I'm like, let me not tell the rest of that story. But the rest of my story is that when I showed up first day of senior year of high school, again, our high school started in 7th grade, 7th to 12th grade, same locker, same school, same hallways, same everything. I show up on my first day of senior year. I have no lock on my locker. Excuse me. Hi. Excuse me. Where's my lock? Oh. Well, they must have thought you graduated. I didn't. I'm still here, even though I wish I wasn't. I'm still here. What do you have to get a new lock? A new lock? 8, 10, 16. It lives in my head. What am I supposed to do at this point?
So you had a different combo your senior year, but you remember the one
Yes, I have
before
no idea what that one was because 8, 10, 16 was the rest of the time.
That's crazy. I don't know what's been going on outside my New York City apartment this hour, but there's just I feel like there's a street party going on. There's cars and beeping and
will you be live from the party out at DillosDizResort.com in a few minutes?
I could be, but I feel like we're doing these Dillo's Pop episodes monthly at this point. The last one we did was in February. We'll call it monthly. We did the Billy Joel song last month for Dillo's Pop, but good to talk about 90s Con here. What we're going to do is take it over to DillosDizResort.com. And I will say, because it's Dillo's Madness related, you can go and click join for free right now and watch that live stream tonight because it's Dillo's Madness related. Yep. So that is where we're headed. As people I see jumping off already to try to be the first one at DillosDizResort.com. But thanks for this. This was a great chat tonight here on our YouTube channel. Don't forget to like and subscribe and tell your friends. I think you're all subscribed, but like and ring the bell. I don't know. Do people ring the bell still? I don't know. Maybe share it. Yeah. Tell your friends that we talked about 90s Con here today. And we'll see you over at DillosDizResort.com. Until next time, she's Jen and I'm Frank. Bye-bye.
Deuces. The Dillo's Diz podcast is hosted by Frank Cardillo and Jen Cardillo-Snyder. Music produced by Matt Harvey. Logos and video production courtesy of Snidillo Studios. Dillo's Diz Resort is our Patreon with tiers starting as low as $1 per month. You can visit DillosDizResort.com to learn more. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, X Twitter, and Facebook at Dillo's Diz. Check us out on YouTube by visiting youtube.com/DillosDiz. Don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there. We also have merch available on TeePublic and Etsy. For all this and more, visit our one-stop shop, DillosDiz.com. Dillo's Diz Podcast 2024.